Good afternoon. My name is Jim Conlan, and welcome to the latest episode of our entertainment show. As you know, in part three of our entertainment show, each month we run our cult classic series Into the Vault, where we look at iconic TV series throughout the decades, no matter the genre. Maybe it's a 60s romance story. Maybe it's a 70s war epic. Maybe it's an 80s detective show. Maybe it's a 90s space race, or maybe it's a 21st century horror story. Whatever the genre, whatever the decade, we look into it in our cult classic Into the Vault series. And up for discussion this week, we're going back to the late 70s. And the 70s were a time of really iconic police detective shows and TV cop detective shows. Such a variety of shows that came in this genre and this decade. And one of them was headlined by the famous Greek actor, the bald headed sensation. Sadly departed now, he's left us, but his legacy lives on. The great Telly Savalas, and most commonly known to people as the iconic Kojak. And Kojak ran through the 1970s, the late 1970s, an iconic police detective show. And our special guest this evening will play the guest star to share his memories on Kojak. His episode was called No License to Kill. It aired on February the 11th, 1978. Season 5, episode 17, and he played the character Patrolman Gardner. His name, and joining us this evening, the one and only Justin Lord. And Justin, I was doing my research, and I could be sort of corrected on this in terms of this, but Kojak, was that one of your very, very first gigs? And I do believe, was it for your very first ever TV gig in Hollywood, was it?
No.
No, no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
Who loves you, baby, as he would say.
Okay,
No, the very first thing that I did was a show called Good Times.
okay,
Okay, which was a comedy show, right? And it was the very first one, and I worked with Jimmy Walker at that time, who I knew from New York. So that was my very first. I was a sexy guy who was in a marriage or a kind of free marriage. That was the whole subject of it. And Jimmy was supposed to be dating my girlfriend. I mean, my wife, excuse me,
okay.
who was played by Faye Hauser. But that was my very first. But Kojak came a little bit later. I'd done about maybe 4 or 5 shows, I think, prior to Kojak. And one of the things I had to learn Korean because I played, as you said, Detective Gardner, and we was investigating some Korean people, right? And being black, they would never have thought that I would know Korean. So I came in, and I know everything that they're talking about. Right? And I'm conversing with them in Korean. Of course, I learned it phonetically,
Yeah,
and it was cool. But the funny thing with that show, man, okay,
yeah,
my background is theater. And because I'd done some other shows prior to that, Telly Savalas, when it came time for my close-up, okay, when he did his close-up, I was right there for him, of course, right? I'm doing this thing for him, I'm throwing him back energy and all this stuff. Great. They turned it around for me, okay. He said, "Hey, I gotta go." What? I gotta go. And they pull one of the crew guys in with script in his hand, and I'm working off of somebody else, right? That's kind of funny.
and tell me, what was your impressions of the iconic, great Telly Savalas? Some people said he was very much the character you saw on screen when the tapes were rolling. Was very much was he really Kojak in real life as well? Was he that larger than life character?
No, he had to me, he had he stayed in character just about the whole time I was there, just about. But there were times when I could see beyond the Kojak character and see him tell his Savalas. He was a pleasant guy, a little funny, but he stayed in that kind of Kojak character. Sometimes that's the way actors work. They'll stay like that, doing the whole thing. But when he said he had to leave, it wasn't Kojak saying, it was Telly saying, "I got to get out of here, man. I got to go."
And tell me, Justin, that opportunity to appear in Kojak, obviously, this was it well into the season now, season five, so you were probably very much aware of its popularity and the popularity of the show. Was it a no-brainer for you? Did you talent agent reach out to you and recommend this role, or how did the opportunity come about, or did the producers and directors of Kojak come looking for you?
They came looking for me along with about 10 other guys, put it like that. Okay, so I
Yeah.
had to go in and audition for it. And unlike today, then you'd go in, you actually see your competition, you know. So I had to go in and read for an audition just like everybody else. It wasn't an offer.
Hmm.
You know, if you got an offer, it's like, whoa. You know what I mean when I say an offer, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
no, that wasn't happening, man.
Yeah. And tell me, when you went to the audition process, was Telly there in person for that audition?
No, they used to have the casting director and someone that will read back with you, which is probably the casting director. So it was the casting director at that time when I read for it. And the producers are in the room, you know, they are in the room, and also the director.
Yeah. And what was your first day on the set of? I know this is a long time in terms of asking now, but any sort of memories on your first day on set in Kojak? Did anything strike out, or anything peculiar happen, or was it very much like any other sort of take? Was it a very normal first day shoot?
Uh, yeah, you said fourth day, my fourth day.
Your first day, your very first day arriving on set of Kojak.
We didn't get 4 days, man.
Okay.
I think I did that in two.
Yeah.
I think I did that one in two. Um,
So
um,
day one arriving on Kojak.
Yeah, we shot two locations, I think it was, you know, where we had to go to investigate, and then to away from that location somewhere else where we had other dialogue going on. But as far as your question is, as far as how was the first day different from the second day, or the second day different from the first day? Is that
No,
your
just the first day arriving on set in Kojak. What was that experience like for you?
Oh, okay, right. Oh, well, for me back then, and again, I said I had about 3 or 4 shows under my belt before I went in, so I was a little not quite as nervous, but always coming in as a guest player. You know, you are. At least I am. Just coming, I was a little nervous. You know, I didn't want to make any mistakes. I didn't want to drop any lines, any of that kind of thing. You know, so the second day I was more relaxed because I had got to meet him prior to that, and we worked a little bit before that second day. You know, so second day was I was cool, as you would say.
And the patrolman Gardner, what was your read on him as as a character as such? In terms of what type of guy did he sort of strike you when you saw the writings for him, and how did you want to
Yeah.
bring? How did you want to add your own touches to him?
Yes, Gardner to me, even though I was in a uniform, I'm still undercover. Okay, you see what I'm saying? I'm in a uniform, so on the exterior, you see this guy who's a patrolman, right? But the undercover part is what I know, which is the Korean aspect. They don't know that I know that kind of stuff. So all I had to do is kind of just listen and pick up on stuff, and then add a little whatever the lines were at that time. I've forgotten to them, but they did not know that I was um, checking them out, put it that way. You know what I'm saying? I was
Yeah.
just an interpreter for the character of Kojak, but I was there with more information.
And Justin, one of the striking things about Kojak, and obviously a very famous show, but it was the family connection involved in Kojak, and the all the main characters were all personal friends of Telly Savalas, whether it was George Savalas, was it Kevin Dobson or so. These were all a very close knit unit, very much like Walker Texas Ranger, where you have the Norris brothers involved, Alan and Chuck as well. Do you think that links to the success of a TV series when you have that sort of family dynamic, that sort of close unit working? Do you think it makes it uh prolongs its effectiveness? Is there something, is there a trick in that for the
No,
industry?
most definitely, because I think and I didn't know that they were all related. You just said they were related, right?
George Savalas and Telly were, but Kevin Dobson was a close personal friend
Right,
of Telly Savalas.
right. Okay. I think because then you're working off of something real. You know, you know these guys on a real basis, you know. And so it's not kind of, you don't have to really work hard for it, you know. You can even tell things in just the way they may look away or the way they did their facial expression. So they're acting, I think, on a different level. So you might see a character thing going on, but they got it hooked up personally.
And what was it like having a credit on Kojak as a young actor heading into the 80s and 90s on the back of having Kojak on your resume? Did it open up many doors that might have been previously shut?
Yeah, man. Because that show was kind of reflected into a show called Hill Street Blues, which I also did. I did an episode of Hill Street Blues. So that same kind of um, police officer, detective kind of thing, which went into Hill Street Blues, the same sort of kind of feel, you know. So yeah, you had a Kojak credit on your resume. That's good, man.
Yeah. And tell me, Justin, these iconic TV series we talk about, maybe Starsky and Hutch, we talk of the Rockford Files, Kojak, maybe things like Murder, She Wrote, real
Yeah, I did a
iconic
murder she
sort.
wrote.
Huh?
Yeah, I did a murder she wrote.
Iconic TV series with iconic leading characters long after maybe the personnel are gone, that maybe decades later that we're still talking them. They're sort of a never-ending sort of cycle. They get shown all over the world, dubbed in so many languages. Why do you think the word cult classic is almost like they have a new following every generation, that even today someone can watch Kojak that might be 15 or 16 years old and get hooked on this TV series long after it aired, dare I say?
Yeah, man. You know, my show is what I look at late at night.
Hmm.
Alfred Hitchcock. Okay.
Okay. Iconic to say the least, Alfred Hitchcock. We're going back another stretch in time there. We're going back.
Yeah, man. I think because, you know, then these were actors that were, a lot of them came from the theater. They really knew how to work. They really worked on their character, or they brought in a different character. And you look at something that it's like a diamond. You know, to me, it's like a diamond. I'm looking at something that's pure, something that they really worked on, you know, something that every move that they make on the camera, I was getting ready to say stage, you know, it means something. So you didn't just see people coming in there with choices that were out of the blue. And if you question them about it, they don't really know, oh, I just liked it. As opposed to with Telly Savalas, what was his thing? It was a cigarette at one time. And they nixed that and went to a lollipop, a Tootsie Roll lollipop, to take the place of the whole smoking thing. Okay. So, like the lines he came up with, who loves your baby? I think another one was, quit your belly aching. I think he said, you know. So those things were things that came from somewhere real. And you talked about the people that he was related to, you know, personally on the set. They probably bounced off of them with that. You know, he's talking to his cousin, hey man, quit your belly aching, man.
And
So those things are real.
do you think some of those iconic stars left their mark? We think of James Garner, Rockford Files. We think of George Peppard, the A Team, another iconic, maybe 50s actors that turned into TV series. Telly Savalas, another one there as well. We think of David Hasselhoff, maybe Knight Rider and sort of stuff like that. Maybe iconic sort of personnels, characters. Tom Selleck as well, another one, another hit detective sort of show. Do you think maybe those strong main characters, Richard Dean Anderson, MacGyver, another one that sort of drove those series, are we seeing maybe less of those big names there today driving TV series going forward?
Um, I, that's a good question. I don't look at a lot of TV now, but that's interesting. A lot of the young actors are coming in. I don't know who the hell they are. I'm sorry. I don't know where they come from, you know. But I'm not the guy to ask that question. I don't think that. Well, I wouldn't have the great answer for you, you know, because there's very few shows I look at that capture me. You know, there's nothing that really captures me. And I'm coming from the point of view of what they are doing as actors. You see, so I'm looking at it differently. I'm looking at what are they doing as actors.
Yeah. And Justin, before we came on air, you mentioned that you're pursuing an interest of getting back involved in the business again after a short hiatus. And dare I say, are we is 2025 onwards and upwards for Justin Lord?
I think so, yeah. I'm gonna battle with this self-tape again, you know. But my real interest is with directing theater. I just love it, man. You know, I get to be everything. I just did a project about Emmett Till, you know. I just love the theater. You can create right there in that box, but you got to be real creative. The working process of working with the actors and delving into how I think that my son says I am the actor's director. He said
Okay.
my dad will make you better.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just love doing that. Maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm saying, all right, man, I'll go out here for another, see how it is with that might be ego involved, going out there, seeing how it is for a little bit. You know, I might stay. I might say, well, I'm done, you know. But my real drive now is I do make other actors better, you
Yeah.
know, because I show them how to really break down the character, break down the script, that kind of thing, you know, which they don't do that for television or film. You go in, you rehearse right there on the set, you know, you do a camera block and that kind of thing, and then you go. Theater, no, you got to sit down and break it down. Break it down. Why are you saying this? Why are you doing that? What's the relationships? All of that.
Yeah. Fascinating, fascinating stuff. We
Yeah.
wish you the best with it, Justin. And maybe to turn over our final minute or so, our final 30 seconds, we leave the last closing sentences to you. Justin Lord, if you to summarize your experience on Kojak, maybe in two short, simple sentences, what would you like those two sentences to read?
It was a great learning experience for me, and it really gave me confidence
Okay.
and the confidence. I got more confidence.
Fantastic, fantastic. Special thank you to our special guest this evening, the one and only Justin Lord. He played Patrolman Gardner in Kojak, season 5, episode 17, which aired on February the 11th, 1978, alongside, as we mentioned, the great Telly Savalas in the leading role of Kojak. From me, Jim Conlan, to you, Justin Lord, we wish you a happy return in 2025. But for the moment, stay safe, take care, and God bless, sir.
Hey, James, same to you, my brother, man. God bless you. Thank you.